Good morning, everybody. This is Zach Tattett again. I'm your host, Zach Cooley, and I am in conjunction with our monthly spotlight of the Wythe County Technology Center, I am with Quinton Hensley. Thank you so much for being with me this morning, Quinton.
Thank you for having me, Zach.
Well, it's nice to talk with you, and you are the JVG coordinator or specialist at the Wythe County Technology Center. Can you tell me what that is and what your role is within that department?
Okay. Well, first of all, most people they hear JVG and they're not quite sure what that is. So the initials stand for Jobs for Virginia Graduates.
Mm-hmm.
We are I guess what you would say, a branch of the national organization is Jobs for America's Graduates, or JAG.
Mm-hmm.
So we are there. We are a pull-out program in Wythe County, which means I meet with my students, which are seniors at this point in the program. I meet with seniors once a week, and we do career success workshops. And then in the spring, or really any time, if students want to do some type of internship or job shadowing, I try to set that up for them. We have a student career association that goes along with that, where they can go to competition, and we do community service projects as well. So it's a really good program. I'm there just to help students, help them to be successful, not only to get graduated as a senior, but also to have success in the future.
So it's a pull-out program, basically an internship. Is this limited to any type? Is this limited to certain type of career fields, or if I came to you and said I want to be a writer, can you get me an internship with the enterprise, or can anyone with any career aspirations go through JVG?
Absolutely. There's no career path that is, off the book, so to speak, because everybody that comes in there, I ask them what we talk about students and their passion. I try to help them find their passion. And then we go and try. I actually had a kid, it was right after COVID, so he wanted to be a journalist, and I actually had contacted the enterprise and was going to get that student, tried to get them an internship there, but it didn't work out at the time because of COVID. So I've had students wanting to be funeral directors, writers, journalists, artists, just about anything you can think of. Veterinarians, I've had internships at local vets, dentists, of course, the medical profession. There's a lot of different areas in the medical profession that students are interested in. So, there's a lot of opportunities even here in Wythe County, more than you would think.
That's fantastic. And if you ever have any other potential writers and you can't get them on with the enterprise, you call me directly. And
that sounds great.
And I will see what I can do.
That's awesome. Most people, if you ask them and tell them about this program, and most everybody that I've talked to is always, willing to help however they can.
Absolutely. And I self-publish books on Amazon in addition to doing an editorial column. So anybody looking at wanting to be an author, I can get them published on Amazon and help them compose their book and format it and all that stuff. So
that is great to know. I didn't know you did that, Zach. That's awesome.
Absolutely. So just send them my way when you get a potential writer or author. I would love to help out.
Perfect.
So How and when did you become involved with the JVG program?
Well, I retired, I retired in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the school shut down that March. So I got a little bit of an early retirement.
Right.
Somewhat. So then they had tried to start the program that year, and I believe they were just about ready to start doing some internships. And of course, COVID hit, shut everything down. Then the next year, they hired me for the position, and we got started in the second semester of 2021. So I've been doing that since then. When I first started, I was doing all three high schools, and we had good numbers. The students were interested, and the school board, and especially Dr. Becky James has really been the one that's pushed this, because she's wrote 3 grants. She wrote the first grant and covered all 3 schools, and then last year she wrote another grant, and so I was the specialist at Fort Chiswell and George Wythe, and they hired a person to do JVG at Rural Retreat. And then she wrote another grant for this school year, and so now there's a different person at each of the schools. I'm at George Wythe, and then we have Ben Caldwell, who's at Rural Retreat, and Kyle Thomas, who's at Fort Chiswell. So all 3 schools now have their own JVG specialists.
I went to school with Ben Cardell. He's 2 years younger than I am. I've known him a long time. So,
yeah, both of those people I've known for a long time as well, and they'll do great jobs at those schools.
I'm glad you mentioned the grant, because Miss Stone wanted it to be mentioned that there was a $30,000 grant approved, which enabled there to be a JVG specialist at all 3 county high schools.
Well, yeah, and Miss Stone has I've worked with her the last couple, 2 or 3 years, and she's my on-site supervisor, and her and Dr. James and Brad Hager was involved. Then he changed positions, and now Charles DeBoard is also he's secondary supervisor, and he's also, we meet, and those are the people I meet with and help guide the program, and they've all been great to work with. So I'm very, very fortunate to have those. But the 6, and we got 6 for 6 this past year, and got an award for that at the national conference. So it was really good.
Yeah, can't get any better than that. Now, do you are you involved strictly with getting students jobs straight out of high school, or do you help them with collegiate work if that is necessary for their career move?
Yeah, I mean, I help them really with anything they need help with.
Okay.
If they need, let's say, some guidance on how to get college scholarships, or tuition assistance, anything that I can help them with, that's kind of the way I see my role. Now, I don't have the answers to all the questions, but I can get them to somebody that can answer the questions. So just having someone else, and the program really is designed for the most disadvantaged students.
Right.
So you've got, and I've got a lot of students that really don't have a lot of disadvantages. And when I say disadvantages in JAG language, we talk about barriers. barriers to success. So I've got some students that have, a lot of family support and, a stable life. But then I've got some that don't, and those are really the students that JAG is designed to help, are those students that, that need some help. So I'm there to help them any way I can, whatever that may be.
Very good. I was born with cerebral palsy and wheelchair bound, and I graduated 20 years ago from Wythe High School. So I think when you're talking about barriers, I think someone like me would be an ideal candidate, someone who is looked upon in the work world as a potential liability. You would be there to help someone like me overcome those barriers, if you will. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. Yep. You've done that. So that says a lot about you and your drive and your characters. But yeah, there's and I get a whole list of, when I enter this data, I have to enter the barriers for these students. And I mean, it can range from just having parents that don't work, or for just having one parent or no parents, and, economic disadvantages, just a wide range of things that can keep students, absenteeism, bad attendance, low grades.
Sure.
Getting in trouble with the law, being suspended from school. There's, all those things would be considered barriers to their success.
Yes, and it's so important, and I'm so glad to hear that you're looking at the social aspect of the situation as well, because there may be a person whose parents have all the money in the world, but they may have mental health problems or social anxiety or something like that would need as much nurturing and attending to as anything else. So it sounds like a win-win situation to join JVG. It sounds like that. I don't understand why every high school student in the county is not interested in this. It sounds like there's no way you can lose by going with this program.
I think that's very well stated. I've got the grant requires us to have at least 35 students per site that are entered. So
right.
I've got close to 40 that come to our meetings at Wythe, where we meet at the Technology Center with the Wythe students. Got around 40 students. And, Wythe High School, the administration there, Kim Ingo, Jason Norris, and the guidance department with Melissa Dalton and Greg Taylor, they've been really good in supporting the program. You can't, get kids sometimes to participate in certain things. You got to have some help from your guidance and your administration to make that happen. And they've been great. I know Jason, he was a JAG or JVG specialist at Carroll County years ago, so he knows about the program. He's a big supporter, and they've all just really made it pretty easy for me to get the numbers that the grant requires. But I feel like, and I have students come up to me. I had one this week that says, "Can they still join?" And I was like, "Well, sure, come to the meeting next week, and we'll get you started." So, like you said, it's a win-win situation.
I'm 38 years old, and I feel like I need to come to the meetings.
Well, you know what? I would love for you to come to the meeting.
I'm telling you, I don't know if you would call a $12 a week newspaper columnist breaking down barriers, but I'm happy to be in the community and be a writer in the community. And I gotta mention, you mentioned Greg Taylor. Mr. Taylor is one of my very best friends on the planet, and I know how hard he works for the school, and I know his dedication to the students, and I'm glad to hear that he's a big supporter of this program.
Yes, he is, and I'm serious about you coming and speaking to my students.
I would
be willing to do that.
I would be honored.
That would be great, you know, and I want them to see how someone with some barriers like you've had can be happy and live a good life and contribute to the community. You know, we had our goal this year is to do a lot of community service projects, and one thing we're doing this once a month, is we're volunteering down at the Open Door Cafe, which I think is just a great thing that we have here in Wythe.
It certainly is.
And so the third Wednesday of every month, we go down there and serve and do whatever, you know, they want us to do down there. And we're going to do that for the year. Then we're going to do some other things as well. But we had our first one Wednesday. And, you know, it's just good for students to, you know, understand that. And that's kind of designed for people who need some help as well. So, it's good for them to see that and experience that.
Well, I would be honored to speak to your students at any time. That would be a real thrill and honor for me. And
that would be great.
And I mean, your students sound like a wonderful group of folks. Now, you say you have about 40 students that you're meeting with now. And is that on a weekly basis, you said?
Yeah, we meet once a week. I'd love to meet with them more, but like I said, they've got at George Wythe, they're getting out. The way the schedule is, we kind of do it around the lunchtime, but we meet at 10:50 on Tuesdays. So once a week, like I said, we have to pull them out of class. So the JAG program, there's a lot of states and schools, their JAG programs are like a regular part of the curriculum. Like you would go to your JAG class every day. But
exactly.
Ours is a pull-out program. So, and you know, I taught marketing education, you know, for years. That was cooperative education, and I supervise students and help them get jobs and working in the community. So very similar to what I'm doing now. But the way the program's set up right now, I meet with them once a week, 10:50 to 11:35. They're at the Technology Center. And you know, I would love to, you know, when we get finished talking, I would love to set up a day for you to come and talk to them if you're interested in doing that.
I would be honored to do that. And,
right.
And let me ask you, I have done a monthly spotlight for every department in the Wythe County Technology Center in my column every month since about fall of last year, and I will be doing that through the end of 2023. And one of the things that I ask all the departments is, do you offer any kind of, you said that you can get them into some competitions if they want to do that. So are there any kind of certifications or trainings they can come away with? You said competitions. Is that like the Skills USA type of competitions, or what are we looking for?
Yes. We have a national conference, career development conference. I believe it's in March this year. It's in St. Louis. We've actually collaborated with Radford University. JVG has collaborated with Radford University. They're sponsoring a business project competition And so any school, in our region that wants to, it's a group project. If they have students that want to do this project, they work on it and then they submit a written plan, and then they take the top 4 and they go to Radford and present it to the Radford business department leadership, and then they decide who the winner is, and the winner will actually, JVG will pay for them to go to St. Louis, airline tickets and hotel rooms for a weekend in St. Louis. So that's just one thing, but that you can also do other competitions, other type of career competitions at that conference.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of something JAG is starting to push. I don't think they've done as much of that in the past. Marketing education, we had DECA, and we had competition. We had regional and state and national competitions, FBLA. All the, like you said, Skills USA is really big. JAG hasn't been as big involved with that, but they're trying to get that started and get more involvement with that.
I was in FBLA a long time ago. I was vice president of DECA when Ricky Skeens was the marketing teacher. We toured the WDBJ7 studios that year, which is one of the fun things I remember.
Okay, that's neat.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed the marketing and business classes, and I would recommend them to any high school student that's not sure what classes they want to take, because they can benefit you in all realms. If I haven't covered it, are there any particular goals that you are aiming towards with your students, your JVG students this year?
Well, I think one specific goal is just to do a lot of community service projects. There's of course, our Open Door Cafe volunteer, and then there's a food bank in town. I'm going to talk to people at United Way, and there's, Habitat for Humanity. I just want to get them really involved with that. I think that's important. Kind of my overall goal for my students, and I talk to them about, I want to help them find their passion. One of the first things I ask them is, do you know what you want to do for a career? And I think most years I'll have maybe half of them raise their hand that they know what they want to do. And I said, that's great. I said, but you may find out that that's not for you. Mm-hmm. So we do early on, we do a lot of career assessments and surveys, personality assessments, where, they get after they do the survey, they get a list of what they're like, and then careers that are related to that. And I think that's probably the best part of the program, is those students that do a job shadowing or internship in the spring, they may do it in that career they think they like, and then they find out that they don't like it. And that's good too. So you can, mark that off your list.
Sure. So
that's kind of my individual goal, is help them find their passion, to where when they get up in the morning and go to work, it's not really work to them.
Right, exactly.
They're getting paid to do something that they love or like. So that's my goal for them, to help them find what they want, what they want to do and what fits them the best. So that's my, every year that's my goal, and that's what I tell them. And I think specifically this year is just to really get them all involved in community service.
And I guess I'll close with this, because you've ended that on a very poignant note. You're from Asheville, North Carolina. I've done a little research on you. But you've obviously spent a lot of time in Wythe County. And I think, and I know you'll agree with me, are we not blessed to be in Wythe County for number one, where we have a community that cares about our own, and and nurtures to the young people of the county and and we have these wonderful opportunities like the Open Door Cafe and the Food Bank and United Way and different things like that. But the young people coming from Wythe County, because I've met them and talked to them, are some of the nicest young folks you can meet on the planet.
Oh yes, I agree. It's a great community, and there's a lot of opportunity for students to have a variety of careers in this county. You know, manufacturing here is great. Students that want to work with their hands, you know, doing those types of careers. There's multiple opportunities, and Wytheville Community College has a bunch of credentialing programs to help young people get started in those careers. You know, when I first moved here, I always thought I'd be gone within 5 years. I wanted to live, you know, in a bigger place, you know, like a Charlotte or someplace like that.
Sure.
But, you know, best decision I ever made was not leaving here. So this is a great community, and I love it. And there's, especially today, there's more opportunities here, I think, than there were 30 years ago for young people. If they like it here, there's no reason with a little work ethic that they can't live and have a successful life.
Well, I can't thank you enough for joining me this morning, Mr. Hensley. It's been a pleasure to talk with you, and I thank you so much for your time.
Zach, I appreciate you having me on and supporting all the programs that you have at our vocational school, technology center. All those programs over there are very worthy of some publicity. They do a lot of good things for students, and they all help them, you know, along their career path. So we appreciate you.